The Birds is a horror thriller film made in 1963, directed by the masterful Alfred Hitchcock and edited by George Tomasini. It's a story about a series of unexplained bird attacks that target Bodega Bay, California. Our main protagonist is Melanie Daniels, played by Tippi Hedren, and our antagonist is, well, the birds. Melanie drives from San Francisco to Bodega Bay to deliver 2 lovebirds to a man she met in a bird store named Mitch. The film follows the town going through the bird attacks and ends with the family of Mitch and Melanie escaping their house that is flooded with birds outside because Melanie was fatally attacked and they needed help. There is no explanation for why the birds attack, which makes the film great. This helps further the tension in the film, and that's why it is so nerve-wracking and scary. The scene we are looking at is the iconic school scene. At this point in the film, there has been a few attacks from the birds. The scene opens up with an extreme long shot of Melanie driving up in her car to the schoolhouse to go and visit the school teacher, which is her new friend named Annie. Throughout the scene, the shots slowly close in on the characters by going to long shots, medium long shots, medium shots, and then the close-up shot. This technique makes it look like they are being closed in on, as they do not have as much room in the frame to breathe. Getting closer to characters becomes uncomfortable and the audience begins to feel uneasy. It also prevents the audience from seeing what's going on in the background. This is how Hitchcock builds tension, through the edit. It is eventually revealed that there is a giant flock of birds sitting behind Melanie and she realizes it. Terrified, she slowly gets up and walks to the school again to warn Annie. Now we will look at cutting. When Melanie goes into the school to meet up with Annie, we cut from her to Annie using eyeline match cuts. The characters are looking at each other and it isn't meant to be tense, just normal conversation. Then when Melanie goes outside, the cuts change to cuts on action. These shots don't bring much uneasiness either, because they still flow very well since the action follows through to each shot. When the tension really begins is when the hard cuts come in. Melanie is juxtaposed with the birds slowly beginning to gather behind her. As the audience is watching, it begins to become a nervous scene. The hard cuts change this into something more jarring than the previous eyeline match cuts and cuts on action. The journey of these cuts fulfills the ultimate end goal of peak tension. Suddenly, we switch to Melanie's point of view as the camera follows behind her instead of in front of her. As she sees the birds, she is struck with terror. She begins to walk back to the school slowly while looking at the large group of birds perching on the playground. We are back to the eyeline match cuts, which were once used as a friendly, flowy edit. Now, they are the opposite since the birds are so daunting and the audience is scared. Earlier, the eyeline match cuts brought almost a sense of security and safety. This is now twisted around to make the audience think, whoa, it isn't safe after all. The scene ends where Melanie goes into the schoolhouse to warn Annie about the birds gathering on the children's playground outside. Eventually, the students are ordered to leave quietly and calmly to not disturb them because the schoolhouse is an unsafe place to now stay. The horde of birds end up attacking the mob of children as they run down the street. All the tension that Hitchcock built brought us to this moment, the attack of the birds, and he does it so well. I guess that's why he's one of the most iconic directors.